Good morning, YouTube. Happy April. As you know, April is the month for me of transitions and ending, travels, and opening new doors and rest. And that's what life is all about. It's a cycle of stability, new opportunities, transitioning, resting, and starting all over. Um, Something I wanted to mention that was very interesting. I recently took a mini trip that I would say God ordained because everything kind of fell in place for it to happen and everything fell in place for me to leave. Um, Upon returning back, I had a huge um, rolling duffel bag. Basically, it contained really nothing except for what there was a young lady at the bus station that was throwing away a bunch of stuff. She was going through a crisis situation and divorce. Child passed a couple years ago. She appeared to be, um, you know, somewhere in the process of drugs recovery, something like that. And, I kind of filled my bag with all the stuff that she was getting rid of. Now, in preparation for my return, I spent like maybe $50, $60, cooked a lot of food, and it all ended up going to waste. Made preparations because the food that I cooked was so pungent with garlic and onions. I couldn't possibly eat that on a bus ride. Two, um, it was just too much, and even overnight, it needed to be refrigerated, and it went bad, quite frankly. So, when I was leaving, I had my all my stuff and was rolling down the street. The strong, independent um, person, spirit, and character and value system that I have. And I happened across, the area that the bus lets out in. There's a lot of homeless people, and of course, as y'all know, I'm very humble because I know the reason I know that is because I personally was exposed to that experience by court order demand. So it was a guy with a styrofoam container, and I know there's no places to eat around there, so I know that he came from uh, a place where people were distributing to folks that they assumed were homeless. So I was like, this is perfect. I didn't have any food. All my food was thrown away. I've been on this long trip. So, I go with my rolling luggage and my two handbags up to where they are. And of course, they're assuming, oh, this beautiful woman, she's homeless, whatever. So one guy, there's always one in each crowd that like thinks that he knows everything. And like I said, everybody that goes to those places are not homeless. They're in transition from one thing to another. And so when I get there, he's like, yeah, yeah, you got one more, one more. And I'm like, okay, at first I'm feeling pretty decent about this. And I'm over here and him talking about something spiritual. And then the lady gives me my food. I get two trays. And I make a mistake and I drop one and I'm bending over to pick it up, and everybody rushes over like, no, no, no. And they're grabbing my hand. And I'm just like, these people are crazy. It's perceptions. And I'm like, since they're doing it out of care, I'm not, really tripping off of it. But I'm like, okay. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm laughing like these people are ridiculous. I'm trying to pick up the stuff that I dropped on the ground, and they're just acting out. So next thing I know, the guy that seemed to be spiritual or whatever, he comes over to try to help me with my bag. Now I'm like, no, I have this. Thank you. You know, and so he gets mad. He says, you know what your problem is? Your problem is that you don't let nobody help you. I'm like, nigga, I don't need your help. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing fine without you. You standing in my way, you blocking my way. I'm trying to get my stuff and get out of here. I was doing fine. I picked up my food, got my bags, get ready to go. And here you are, hating on my independence. It's good that you stopped and asked me to help. But if somebody says no, they mean no. They don't need your help, you know? And so my family got the impression, oh, this woman is just starting this, that, and the other, and he's trying to help, and I'm this way because I don't need your help. I got all my stuff together. People like you that are crippled mentally, crippled, spiritually crippled as far as trying to do for yourself, yeah, you may need help. And the type of females that encourage you to make you feel good, may pretend to need your help. But I don't need to pretend to need your help. And I don't need your help. You know, I was glad that it would have been nice if you asked, which you did. And I said no, and you respected it and went on about your business. But no, you wanted to cripple me because have been crippled by society or mentally in a way that you feel that, everybody around you must be crippled too, No, some people have, you know, the ability to do for themselves, and they do. The only reason that I was in that crippled situation, I was court ordered there. And I was, made to believe by the system that, you know, that if you don't accept all these types of help and these types of things, then something's wrong. No, it's not true. You don't need help. The thing of you always reaching out your hand to get help, that's what cripples you, you know? And because somebody forced you to believe it and you did, doesn't mean that it's that you can force that on everybody else. It's not true. They lied to you, and you accepted that lie. It's not true. Stop it. So, this guy, my point is this, I was doing good on my destination. This guy, decides to slow me down because, he, he feels that I should be a certain way. I should be, in need of his help or humbling myself to his help. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need your help. It's 3 o'clock in the middle of a work day. Why is this black man standing around in a t-shirt and funky jogging pants? Trying to force himself to appear to be needed. If you're not needed, you're not needed. Okay. Speaking of which, my family no longer needs me, or what used to be my family no longer needs me, which is great because that frees me up. They made it clear that I'm not wanted, I'm not cared for, I'm not needed. So I did what I could. I bought a whole bunch of food, set them up, and I'm done, finished. I understand that if I'm not needed, I'm not needed. And the same thing with other people. The person that needs you the most is you. Take care of you. And if you can love other people that need it or seem to appreciate it, do so. Speaking of that lady in the bus station, again, perceptions. At first she's all gung ho, but when I, showed that I had an understanding of quote unquote her type of people, she had the missing teeth, drugs, whatever like that, homeless, blah blah blah. Then she became like, funny, like at first she was giving me, but then she was just like, put the stuff out the garbage can and this, that, and the other, because she was throwing away like brand new. If I could show you now, I would, brand new purses and stuff. And I got to the point where I was like, no, don't throw it in the garbage. That is a nice purse. Give it to me. And so just like being in a situation where people have been in homeless places, things like that, it's like their way of showing the throwing shade. It's like they'll give somebody something in their hand and then they'll toss something to the side for someone else. But how does that make me feel? I understand, what it is. But, the reality of it, same thing with that guy, the reality of it is that it should not have an effect. The goal was that the stuff that was nice, that was going to be in the trash, didn't make it to the trash. I took it for the woman. The second part, with that guy, the goal was that, for me to keep it moving. Basically, I wasn't successful in that. I should have just told him straight up and been like, yo, I don't know you and you don't know me. Let's just keep it that way, So that's that. Other things that have affected me or had an impact, and like I said, I thank God or whatever spiritual power or being that's out there that controls and oversees everything watches out for me, because I get these little messages and things. Yesterday I was viewing YouTube videos just on the fly, and I came across two. One was called Perfection. It was about an Asian girl that from childhood she was learning to talk to be perfect, and it reminded me of me, the storyline. The second short film was called The Nice Girl, Again, it reminded me, this girl that just was sweet and cared about everybody and got taken advantage of, down to her job, getting fired from her job because she wouldn't sleep with the boss, and her just, he gave her a choice, either bend over or get out. So she got out. And then, just being taken advantage of. But sometimes your greatest weakness is your greatest strength, or what is perceived to be your greatest weakness is your greatest strength, and vice versa. I don't have any. So all of that was pretty cool with me. I'm just recording this because it's 2:30 in the morning. I got up, and those are things that just happened walk across my palette, my mental palette. So I just wanted to share those things with you, because perhaps there are situations where people have tried to push their weaknesses off on you, or um, whatever prejudgment somebody had about them, push it off on you. So my message for this video, I got bitten everywhere, is one, that, stand in your strength, know who you are, don't let anybody take that away from you. Two, understand what your goal is, and if you've accomplished it, then there's no harm, nothing lost. Three, when things, if you're not needed, you're not needed. When one door closes, it's an open door for many possibilities. So accept it, embrace it, and enjoy it. That's my message for today. Love you. Goodbye.